What's up, people? It's your girl Adeola. Several times on this show I've talked about how the ethnic divide is destroying us in Africa. It breaks my heart to see that the second most populous African country, Ethiopia, is presently at the brink of a civil war. And it's all just because of ethnic interests. And you know, the sad thing is, if I go to Ethiopia today, I cannot tell who is Amhara, who is Oromo, who is Tigray. I can't. I look at them and I don't see any difference. It's the same damn thing happening in Nigeria, where some ethnic groups would protect their own interests at the detriment of others, where we discriminate against each other just because of tribal issues. We appoint people based on ethnicity and on religious connections rather than based on competence. We even kill ourselves based on religion and ethnicity. The enemies of Africa know this, and they're actually able to use it to divide us even more and to prevent real development and growth in Africa. The danger in this is what we've all seen happen in Rwanda, where more than 800,000 human beings were slaughtered just because of ethnic disputes. And that's why I'm addressing this, so that it doesn't get out of hands in Ethiopia like it did in Rwanda. I do not belong to any of the ethnic groups. I've never even been to Ethiopia, but I spoke with people from different ethnic groups. So everything I would say is based on my research. So please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm hoping that I would hear from people of different ethnic groups in Ethiopia. But from my understanding, right now in Ethiopia, more than 500 civilians have been killed, mostly Amharas. And this is simply because of an ethnic-based war, and the number keeps rising.
Hundreds of people have already been killed in the conflict that's been mostly concentrated in western Tigray, close to the border with Sudan and Eritrea.
Of course, soldiers are also getting killed, but civilians are also getting killed. An ethnic group called the Tigrayans, about 6% of the entire population, was the one in power for about 30 years, up until 2 years ago when Abiy Ahmed became the prime minister. He is from the Oromo ethnic group.
The TPLF dominated Ethiopian politics for more than 3 decades and says Abiy squeezed him out of the federal government when he came to power in 2018.
For about 3 decades, the Tigrayans controlled every sector of the government. The military, a lot of weapons were located in their region. They also controlled remittance business. They had billions in and outside of Ethiopia, and they're very wealthy. And when Abiy Ahmed took over, many of them were removed from strategic positions in power. 160 army generals were fired. 90% of them were Tigrayans. And the Tigrayans are saying that they are now being marginalized. To be honest with you, I'm really hoping to hear from the Tigrayans exactly how they are being marginalized, because I've been seeing a lot of reports saying that they are being marginalized, but I'm not sure exactly how. Others say that they just want to be back in power and that they don't want to share power with other ethnic groups. Now, if you remember, Ethiopia postponed its elections because of COVID-19, a move that was approved by the parliament in Ethiopia, and they are now considering holding the election in May or June of 2021 next year. But the Tigray region was not happy about this, so they actually stopped considering the prime minister as legitimate. They said he's no longer their prime minister because he postponed the elections. And so they went ahead and held their own election in their region, which was not recognized by the parliament. As a matter of fact, the lawmakers in Ethiopia voted to stop sending funds to the Tigray region because they had their own election. Trouble had been brewing in Ethiopia for months. New York Times, in their article, said that when the government decided to stop funding the Tigray region, Tigrayans in the army defected, even before announcing publicly that they are now loyal to the Tigray region solely. In the middle of the night, New York Times reported how they allegedly killed some soldiers from other ethnic groups who were stationed in the Tigray region. So now that's like soldiers killing other soldiers just because of ethnicity. So what sparked the current crisis, according to the New York Times report, is the fact that some of the Tigrayan soldiers killed other soldiers from ethnic groups in the middle of the night. So these were soldiers that were stationed in the Tigrayan region, and so in the middle of the night, the Tigrayan people allegedly killed the soldiers, and that's what sparked the ongoing war in Ethiopia. They also took over towns of other ethnic groups in their region, and so the country's military is now fighting the Tigrayan military in order to rescue civilians, and also in order to get the weapons that the Tigrayan army has access to.
Celebrations on the streets of the tiny town of Dansha in northern Ethiopia. Residents came out to welcome federal forces who've just retaken the town from Tigray fighters.
The Prime Minister has really tried actually to unite the country. He even made peace with Eritrea, but in this case, he says that he's not willing to dialogue or talk about peace, which a lot of people are criticizing him for, being that he won the Nobel Peace Prize. His government is saying that the Tigrayans have missiles that they could use to kill a lot of civilians, so they said that they won't stop until they defeat the Tigrayans.
What we know was they had some missiles which could go to 300 kilometers. That means they could strike Bahar Dar, Amara region. They could also strike Afar, or they could strike Asmara. That's easier. It was in their range. So that's why the government has to rush to destroy it.
Meanwhile, some people believe that having a peace talk, having a dialogue with the Tigrayans is what could prevent them from using the missiles that they have on civilians. Let me know what you think about that. Should the Prime Minister dialogue with the Tigrayans or not? As it is, the Prime Minister has declared a 6-month state of emergency in the Tigrayan region. The phones are down, internet is down in the Tigrayan region. Tigrayan officials retaliated by announcing the closure of their airspace, restricting road movement in the region, and now they have declared it publicly that soldiers from their region have defected and now sided with the Tigrayan people. So their soldiers are no longer loyal to Ethiopia as a country, they are only loyal to Tigrayans. All I know is, it breaks my heart that ethnicity is still the main tool that is being used to turn Africa upside down. Already more than 7,000 to 10,000 Ethiopians have fled to neighboring Sudan. Do you think Sudan doesn't have their own issues? They do. I mean, if civil war should break out full-fledged in Ethiopia, hundreds of thousands may flee. Ethiopia is a country of 110 million people. So it is very easy to try to convince Ethiopians to live peacefully, to live in harmony, to tell them they're all one people and that they should live as such. But how much are we willing to live together in peace in Africa? This is not just pertaining to Ethiopia. So many African countries are divided simply because of ethnicity and religion. And my main question is, why is it that we focus so much on our differences? That's what I don't understand. We have so much more in common. Once again, look at these Ethiopians. They're actually Ethiopians from different ethnic groups. Can you tell the difference? I sure can't. Also, these are Rwandans from different ethnic groups. Can you tell the difference? I cannot. Also, these are Nigerians from different ethnic groups. Can you tell the difference? I cannot, even though I'm a Nigerian. There's so much that we can achieve if we can just look beyond our differences. That's what I'm trying to say. We'll keep you guys posted on what's happening in Ethiopia. We are hoping that there will not be a full-fledged civil war in Ethiopia. And in closing, do you think that the Prime Minister should dialogue with the Tigrayans or not? Also, if you're from Ethiopia, we would love to hear from you, because this is not just complicated, it's also confusing. It's so hard to try to know exactly what the truth is in terms of Ethiopian politics. So we would like to hear from the Amharas, the Tigrayans, the Oromos. Let's hear from you about what's happening in Ethiopia. You guys not know much. Guess what? I'm just keeping it real. Alright y'all, it's been real and I'm keeping it right up in here. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. And if you're yet to subscribe to my YouTube channel, please make sure that you do that. Until next time, I will see you all later. Peace out.